I heard people say that the best way to find out if a relationship would work would be for the couple to move in together and see if things went smoothly. So was it wrong to consider it a sign that her time with Yami here had gone so smoothly? Every day was so much fun. They'd play video games, go out and give out candies to the less fortunate, play in the park, and she'd even started learning how to cook. She was terrible at it, but it was a start. It was so great she dreaded the idea of playing video games alone again, which is why she was currently sulking at the kitchen table. Because in a few days Yami would be returning home. "What's wrong, sunshine?" her mother asked her as she went into the kitchen and saw her daughter with her face on the table. "Nothing," Amai said weakly, in a tone that contradicted her words. "Oh, dear." Her mother pulled up a chair and sat down next to her. "Is it because Yami is leaving soon?" "No," Amai lied. "Oh dear, why don't you ask him on a date?" Her mother just said outright. "I'm not in love with him, Mom," Amai denied, not moving an inch. Her mother put her hand on her daughter's head. "So you don't get excited by the idea of spending a whole day by his side? Holding hands on the beach?" Amai blushed because she knew what her mother was doing. She could read emotions, that was her quirk. So the only thing she could do was try not to imagine what her mother had just put in her head, and how lovely it would be. And where it could go from there. She was failing miserably, in case you couldn't tell. "Sunshine, you know you can't hide things like this from me," her mother told her. "And it won't do you any good to hide away your emotions. Bottling them up will only lead to pain. You need to follow your heart. Like I did when I was your age." "Mom, I think I'd die of embarrassment if I tried doing what you did," Amai said, finally tilting up her head to look at her mother with her very red face. "But what if he doesn't like me? What if I make things weird?" "It's going to be weird no matter what, sweetheart," her mother said honestly. "If you hold it in the whole time, it's going to be weird trying to hide the fact that you have feelings for him while dealing with your unresolved feelings. If you confess and he rejects you, it's gonna be weird because the two of you will have to deal with a one-sided relationship, and if he accepts, it's going to be weird because you won't know how to be in a relationship." "Ugh, hi," Amai groaned, putting her face back on the table. "Mom, this isn't helping." "Well dear, that's just how it is," her mother said honestly. "It's going to be rough, but regardless it will get better. If you choose to deal with it. If you just keep pushing it off, then it will stay awkward and hard to deal with. I'm not going to force you, sweetheart, but I strongly recommend you do something about your feelings." Amai thought about that for a minute, really letting her mother's words sink in. XXXXXXXXXXXXX. "Okay, just a little further, we've almost finished the raid." Amai was now in gaming mode. Sitting in her room was Yami, as the two of them played on separate PCs. The game they were playing was one of Amai's favorite MMOs, Never-Ending Fantasy XIV, which Amai had convinced Yami to play quite some time ago. Amai's character was, of course, a DPS character who specialized in speed and used dual daggers. And Yami's character was a healer. Given how new he was to the game, he would normally be rather weak. However, thanks to the legendary item known as the credit card, he managed to get some equipment that made it so he'd be able to keep up after some intense grinding. The two's characters were running along with a large party of people, Amai towards the front close to the tanks, while Yami was in the back with the other healers, behind the mages, archers, and magic gunmen. "Good exercise for my fingers," Yami noted, as he rapidly healed the party with all of his skills. "I know, right?" Amai agreed, before getting back in the zone, as they approached the boss. "Okay, Yami, we're coming up on the boss, so I need you to focus harder than ever before." Yami grunted in confirmation before his eyes focused on the screen. The party entered the boss's room and were immediately confronted by the boss, Cliffdrop, a giant golem dragon. "Be careful, Yami, this boss spawns pools of quicksand in whatever spot has the most plays in it. Don't just stay in one place, and don't touch the edges of the walls, they're covered in spikes," Amai warned him, getting a small nod in response. The battle raged on, each member of the large party doing their job. Amai was furiously hitting her keyboard. Each second a new skill would refresh, and as such, she needed to press at least 3 keys per second. Yami, remember, don't always try to heal. If everyone is above half health, then attack the boss. Okay. Yami wondered how she could possibly pay attention to both his character and her own while pressing that many keys, but he'd just add that to the list of things about Amai that amazed him. The battle was long because the boss was an absolute damage sponge, but eventually, they got it down to 1/10 of its health. Suddenly, a whirlwind of sand surrounded the dragon, damaging everyone who attacked him from close range and nullifying all damage. Oh shoot. Yami, get ready, he's about to unleash his desperation attack, it'll fill the entire screen and do crazy damage. Amai explained as she got ready to use her skills that would help her survive. The support characters are gonna start buffing you guys and lowering your cooldowns. Start spamming your healing moves like crazy. Got it. Yami shouted as he got ready to mash like never before. The dragon unleashed a massive sandstorm, covering the entire battlefield, and doing lots of damage to everyone on the field. Yami started mashing his healing skills as fast as he could, but he was still new to the game and was being swiftly overwhelmed, unable to press all of them at the same time. Amai could see Yami's health dropping, and she knew he was struggling to keep up. He was still a noob after all. I could go help him and leave my character on auto battle, but auto battle is trash. I'm not sure my character will survive if I do that. But, then again, this might be my chance to impress him, screw it. She pressed the auto battle key, dived over to Yami, and started pressing keys along with him. Come on Yami. Heal. Heal. Yami looked at her shocked for a split second, before continuing to mash keys. With the efforts of the two of them, they managed to hit all the keys, keeping Yami's character alive, as well as helping the healing efforts in general. After a few more seconds, the attack had ended, and most of the players had survived. Amai's character had also survived, but not by much. The AI was mindlessly attacking the boss, using her skills slowly in comparison to how Amai used it, and her character was on the verge of death, and was about to feel the wrath of one of the boss's AoE attacks. Seeing the danger, Amai rushed back over to her seat, turned off auto battle, and used her movement skills to get herself out of the way, just in time to dodge the AoE. Yami then started to focus his efforts on healing Amai. The boss was almost dead, they just needed to last a little bit longer. The next couple minutes were spent nervously attempting to keep Amai's character alive from the brink of death, until eventually. Roar! The golem dragon let out a death cry, as its health bar had finally reached 0. Cracks formed, and the dragon crumbled into dust. They had won. Phew! Both Amai and Yami had reeled back, letting out a sigh of relief. Yami had no idea why he felt so exhausted. It was just a game after all, if they failed they could try again. But Amai's desire to win was so intense, that it spilled over to Yami, and he took this much more seriously than he otherwise would have. As the quest ended, and the rewards came in, Amai and Yami turned to each other and raised their arms. Smack! And both of them gave a very, very satisfying high five. The two smiled at each other, which was rare, as Yami was not exactly expressive, but after a while, Yami got up and started stretching. Gonna go get food. Be back. Yami went out of the room, closing the door behind him, leaving Amai with a dumb smile on her face. This was what was so great about gaming with Yami. Being in charge of a team, working together to barely keep each other alive, and then coming out victorious and celebrating at the end. It made her heart beat fast. I strongly recommend you do something about your feelings. Her mother's words rang out in her head, causing her face to turn bright red. Should I ask him on a date? Amai's face turned even redder at the idea. Now she was nervous once again, but for a very different reason. There would be no resetting if this went wrong. But if things went well, could she be even happier than this? The idea was just so tempting. Then the door opened, and Yami came back, holding 2 cans of gamer fuel and 1 big bag of chips. Back. Oh, hey, Amai said, trying to bring her thoughts together so she could speak coherently. Thanks for the snacks. I really need it. Ha. Why are you nervous? Yami asked, of course being able to see her emotions. This was the downside of having a crush who could see your emotions but somehow still didn't find out you had a crush on them. They could see through you just enough to make you have to explain yourself, but not enough to just figure you out and get the ordeal over with. I wanted to ask you a question. Okay, do it, Yami told her. He'd told her not to be afraid to ask him anything, and he meant that. Amai bit her lip nervously, as she tried to muster up her courage. I was wondering if you'd like to dash. Ring. Just then, Yami's phone started to ring in his pants. Yami raised up his finger, indicating for her to give him a second, before pulling it out and answering. What cliché timing. Amai thought to herself, as she watched Yami listen to whoever it was calling him over the phone. After a few minutes, Yami finally responded. Okay, I'll tell her, soon, goodbye. And with that, the conversation ended, and Yami put his phone back in his pocket. What was that about? Amai asked, her curiosity overtaking her other feelings at the moment. They're starting something called Minecraft server, Yami explained. Want us to join? Oh, a group Minecraft server. I've always wanted to be part of one of those. Amai had seen many videos of people on group Minecraft servers, and it looked like a ton of fun. I'd love to join. If they can handle me, that is. Yami nodded. Okay, what do you want to ask? I was wondering if Amai could feel herself losing her nerve. It was now or never. If you'd like to share a Minecraft house with me. Yami stared at her blankly for a second, before shrugging. Okay. Hi. Amai screamed in her head, but she forced herself to smile. Thanks. Why don't we log onto the server and start building? What did I just say? Amai screamed in her head. Why did those words come out of my mouth? Out of all the things I could have said. To Amai, this was the worst possible thing she could have asked. Because to a normal person, this meant pretty much nothing. But to a gamer, sharing a Minecraft house symbolized some kind of relationship, usually romantic. She's somehow been both over-romantic and not romantic enough, and now she couldn't back out without looking weird. Why are you still nervous? Yami asked, confused as to why she'd still be nervous if he already said yes to her question. I just really want to make the best house possible. Amai lied. Fortunately, she was too nervous to feel guilty about lying to him, so Yami didn't notice. We will, Yami assured her. You're best at games. So no problem. Amai's face somehow got even redder, and she quickly went over to the TV. Thank you, now let's start now please.